and I play red. We are heading towards Essen, and I'm still catching up with Gen Con. And we had Tabletop Scotland in the middle. So it's definitely full-on convention season. So again, this is something I picked up from Gen Con, that presumably it kind of had a small US release there, main release at Essen. Today we are looking at Terracotta Army by Przemysław Fornal and Adam Kwawinski, produced by Board&Dice. It's obviously one of their tea range, and we maybe might see another one soon. For now, let's have a look at how this plays. We all remember that scene in Ghost. Well, here we're going to be shaping and moulding our clay to build the wondrous spectacle of the Terracotta Army. Not quite as exciting. During the game, players will build together, all on the mausoleum board. But at the end of 5 rounds, the player with the best building skills will win. So, on our main board, we've placed a piece of dry clay in each of the 4 warehouses around our action wheel. Now, clay can either be wet or dry, and only wet clay can be used to build. The action wheel is just, we set up randomly, but with your lines matching up, obviously. There's a whole host of scoring tiles. We've picked 5 at random and placed them on the board. You'll score these at the end of each round, and we've got a tiny little turn marker there. The inspector pawns are going to start on the first spaces of each of these tracks, and our specialist statues on the board. Now, these have all got funky shaped bases, and you can see they match up with the appropriate space on the board there. The warrior organizer here not only neatly stores all of our warrior tokens, but has a whole host of information on it. There's some information that's actually on all 4 sides here, and then point scoring on the top here. Each player will start with the components of their chosen colour. Now, Board&Dice don't do red. There's all sorts of things I could say about that. So I'm playing purple. So I've got my master tokens numbered between 1 and 6. My craftsmen and my artisans, which are off to one side for now. I have my warrior bases, my score marker, my turn order marker, which I've put on the boards, 3 coins I'm going to start with, and 4 weapon tokens, all currently on the inactive side rather than the active side. So the game is played over 5 rounds, and each round has 3 phases. The first of which is the action phase. In current turn order, players are going to place their workers on the action wheel and perform the actions shown. Before placing a worker, you can choose to rotate one of the wheels. You can pay 2 coins and either rotate this inner wheel 1 space or rotate the outer wheel 1 space. And if you notice, they've got little arrows showing you which direction they rotate in. You can only ever rotate 1 wheel 1 space. You can't pay 4 coins and rotate both. In fact, there it is. I knew it was somewhere on the board. So 2 coins to rotate your wheel. If you're happy with what's there, you're then going to place your worker. If the segment is empty, you can place any type of worker there. If a craftsman is already on a spot, you can only play an artisan there. If, however, there's an artisan there, then nothing else can go on that spot. But I don't have any artisans yet. So let's have a look at what I might want to do. I think I'm going to go here for now. So, working from the inside outwards, this is a bit wonky, you're going to take all 3 of the actions shown. If you don't like the action on the inner or middle ring, you can always choose to take 1 wet clay or 1 coin. Or you can choose to do nothing, but why would you ever do that? You must complete actions from the inside to the outside. If you don't want to do, if you don't want to do this action on the final ring here, you get nada. So let's have a look at the ring actions. There are various spots that allow you to take clay. So here I'd get 2 clay, here I'd get 4, 2 here. Simple. You can also take coins, which is what I've done here. So here I'd get 4 coins and 2 coins. So for these 2 actions, I'd get a total of 6 coins. This symbol here would allow you to flip any dry clay you had over to wet. So you're wetting your clay. I think that's a little vase. That would make sense. This spot here, if I'd gone here, this would allow me to upgrade my craftsman to an artisan. So what I'd do there would be pop him and remove this guy. He goes to the side because he's been upgraded. And then I'd carry on with the actions. The outer symbols here, so let's go back to my spot here. I'd take 6 coins and I'd get to flip over this weapon token. So let's take my coins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So 6 coins and flip my token. So there's symbols here matching all of your weapon tokens. This one here would allow you to take the turn priority action. Some of these have got little clay symbols on, so if you'd taken that, you'd get a wet clay as well. Now we have the slightly more complex actions. We have the master token actions. Now there's 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 6, 5, 6. Which, if you'll notice, the pictures match these spaces on the board. So, if I'd gone on one of these, let's say, I don't know, let's just go on, where's the clay dude? here. Let's go here. Now, I don't currently have a token here, so I can't take the action. However, this is where my little master tokens come into play. So what I need to do is choose one of these and pay the cost on it. Now, because I got 6 money from going there, I don't know. I'm going to pay 3 and choose this guy and place him on the spot. I then get to do that action, which here is gain 3 wet clay. These actions here occur at the start of the turn. So this guy here will allow you to take 3 wet clay. This guy will allow you to take clay from 2 of the warehouses around the board. And then the bottom one here will allow you to flip over all 4 of your weapon tokens. These ones here, this guy here will allow you to buy a warrior at a number of coins equal to the current round. So at the moment it would be 1 coin. Obviously later in the game it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5. Here you're going to get the bonus of the inner wheel twice. And then finally this guy will allow you to move these inspector pawns forward by 1 or 2 spaces. We'll talk about these bits a bit later on. Going back to the wheel actions, we've got 2 left to look at. These spaces on the wheel allow you to build warriors at the cost of clay shown. So here I'd spend 2 clay, here 4, here 3, 4, 3. So I could choose one of the warriors to take and place on the board. So if I were to build this warrior here, I'd have to pay the 2 wet clay. However, when I do that, 1 of the clay goes into the warehouse and the quarter I'm building in. So in this case, it would go up here. If I were to use this action, it would go into this quarter and so on. And then you're going to potentially end up with stacks of clay here that can then be taken out using the master action. Lastly, on the wheel, we have our specialist symbol. So these are on the outside, and those will allow you to build the specialist warriors at a cost shown below them. So let's have a look at all of these miniatures. I never thought I'd say that. So the warrior statues, who are in their little box here, come in 4 different flavours. So let's pop, oops, 1 of each out. Oh, crossbow man, that's it. So we have got the officer, the guard, the crossbow man, and the soldier. Now, I know I've taken them from here, but when you take them, you're going to take them from the bottom of the box. You're going to pay the amount of wet clay shown on the wheel, take them out, and you're going to gain the amount of points shown. If you flip the matching weapon icon, so I shouldn't have taken him, I'm going to take him, oops, I would immediately get 8 points. And then because I can flip his matching weapon token to inactive, I'm going to get the bonus as shown on the bottom of the box. The officer here will grant you 1 additional point and allow you to move 1 of the inspector tokens on the mausoleum board forward or backwards. The guard here, who I've just taken, will give me an extra 3 points, and also allow me to move one of my figures on the mausoleum board. The crossbowman here will give me 1 point for every blank space between him and another model on the mausoleum track. And lastly, the soldier here will give me 1 extra point, but also 2 coins. So I'm going to take my statue, pop my base on him, and pop him on the board. So for now, I'm going to place him here, or here, because then he's going to score me, hopefully, if the inspector stays there. But we'll come on to scoring in a bit. We then have our 4 specialist statues. Now, these have a specific cost as shown on the bottom. With the warriors from the box, you can choose if you want to flip the associated weapon token or not. With these, you must have the warrior token available. The cost is shown in coins. So this first horse here, I'd have to flip my sword token and it would cost me 1 coin. However, you can see when he's removed, this next one is going to cost someone 2 coins, and so on. And these go up as more of the models get removed from the board. These again have different abilities. There's a nice little key at the bottom here telling you exactly what they do. So we have the horse here. Let's just pull him out. Now, with him, you're actually going to place one of your figures on him. So it essentially increases the space taken up by that single warrior. Next up, we have the footman. At the end of the game, there will be points given to whoever has the majority of warriors surrounding these guys. Oops. We then have the kneeling archer. Now, these are slightly different to everything else because these guys, when you place them, you're going to choose what direction they face in. And these are the only figures that it matters for. I'm obviously going to put him facing my guy. He will break ties for me and also give me 2 points at the end of the game. Lastly, in specialist statues, we have the musician. During each scoring phase, players will score for having warriors in the same row or column as the musician. So here I'd get 1 point because I'm in line with him. If he was there, I'd get 1 for that. So that, I didn't have a horse, of course. I just had him for now. So now we've had a look at everything on the board, I'm going to play a few rounds and show you how it works. So first thing I'm going to do is actually go here because I get some coins and some clay and a weapon token, which is all good. So inside out, I get 3 coins, I get 2 wet clay, and I get to flip my crossbow marker. So that would be the end of my turn. We'd go around the board until it came back to me, and I think what I want to do is, what are we scoring? Ooh, right, so we're going to have a quick look at the end of round scoring. Here, the end of round scoring is coins this turn. There are various scoring tiles. This one is for coins. This one is for that specific type of warrior. This quarter of the board, this middle row, and that quarter of the board. So when you place, you need to be looking at that and having an idea of where you're going. But the first round's coins. So what I'm going to do is go back to this spot here, take 4 coins, then 2 coins, so there's 6 coins, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and flip this weapon token. See, now I've got some clay, I've got loads of coins, and I've actually got some weapon tokens, so I can do some stuff, which is exciting. And that is that. I'm going to build some warriors. So, I'm going to go here. The first thing is to pay 2 wet clay to build a warrior of my choice. Now, that second scoring round is these warriors. So, I'm going to take him. I'm going to get 8 points straight away. Then I am actually going to flip the token. I know I haven't unflipped that one yet. So let's put the base on and pop him on the board. I am going to go for that spot because that will cover me for that quarter scoring. It will cover me for the inspector scoring at the end of the round. Then I'm going to gain 2 wet clay, so I get the 2 that I just spent, and I can build a specialist statue. Now I must have the available weapon token, so essentially that gives me a choice of those 2. I think I'm going to go for this guy. I need to flip that token and pay 1 coin, and I'm going to put him there, because if I have the majority around him, I'm going to get 8 points at the end of the game. So I'm going to put him next to my other guy. I don't get any points or anything straight away, but that's fine. I need to have a look at some of these and which ones of these I might want. So I am going to go. I know where I'm going to go. I've just got to find it on the board here. I'm going to go there. The guy with the switch. Well, to me, it looks like he's got a switch. But I can't pay 4 clay. Right, let's go here. So I'm going to get 4 wet clay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I can place on here. I'm going to spend 2 coins. Place on here, which gets me another 3 wet clay. I've got all the clay, all the coins. And lastly, but not least, I can build a specialist. Do I want to? I don't think I do at the moment, because the only one I can build is him. And I don't think I want him right now. So I'm going to leave it there. Then I've got my last little worker, poor little dude, and I am going to, for my last action, I'm going to place there. This would mean all my clay would become wet, and this means I can put a master token on that space. I'm going to do that. I'm going to pay 1 coin and pop that there. So now I pay the number of coins equal to the round to place a warrior. Now I must place the warrior that there is the most of. So I can place one of these. I'd have to place one of these, and I actually get to choose which one. So I'm going to pick the archer. Now, the one thing with this is you're not going to get the points for it, but you're getting stuff on the mausoleum board, which you want. So I'm actually going to pop him there, which may seem a bit mad, but when we come around to scoring, all will be clear. Then as a last action, I'm going to flip all my tokens in a minute. I'm going to flip over my sword token. All the players have placed their workers. We'd come to the end of the round and we do end of round scoring. Now, at the end of round scoring, there's 3 things you need to score. The first thing you're going to score is the inspectors. Points are given for presence and dominance in the row and the column that the inspectors are marking. Obviously, presence is just being there and just hanging out in that row or column, whereas dominance would be having the majority. So at the moment, we both have a presence in that column. However, if I pop him there, I now have dominance because I have 2 and green has 1. That's not the case yet, so that's fine. So for now, we're going to score as shown here. On the column, we both have presence and neither of us have dominance. So we both score 3 points. On the row, I have dominance. These specialist tokens with no bases don't kind of count as anything. So I have dominance on that row. So I'd get 7 points for that. Once you've scored the row and column, each inspector is going to move along 1. The second thing you're going to score is musicians. Now, as I said earlier, musicians will give you 1 point for each warrior in the same row or column as them. So in this case, I'd get 1 point for the guy here and 1 point for the guy here. However, if that was there, both of us would get 1 point, but it's not. It's there. Then you're going to go and score the scoring tile for the round. So in this case, the player with the most coins would score 5 points and the player with the second most scores 2. However, you must always have something to be able to get these. So if I had 0 coins, I couldn't get second place. So you're going to score that, flip that over and move that up because we'll be going into the second round. At the end of the round, you're going to rearrange turn order. Then you're going to flip any wet clay you have to its dry side. Now, if you have tokens on these spots on the board, each one of these will prevent one of your clay from going dry. So if I had tokens in all 3, I'd keep 3 clay wet. I only have the 1, so 1 stays wet. Then from here, I'm going to get 1 coin as income because I'm in there. You're going to collect workers from the board and you're going to move the wheel. Now you're going to move the inner wheel 1 space clockwise, and then you're going to move the outer wheel 1 space anti-clockwise. Advance the round marker and you're ready to begin a new round, unless it's round 5. If you're at the end of round 5, you're going to move on to endgame scoring. At the end of round 5, after the end of round scoring, we're going to move on to endgame scoring in the mausoleum here. The first thing we'll score is the footman, And again, this is based on dominance and presence. So for the footman, we're going to look at all of the spaces around him. The green player has a presence here, so we'll score 2 points. However, I have dominance, so I would score 8 points. Next, you're going to remove every warrior that isn't part of a group. Now, a group is 2 or more figures of the same type that are adjacent. So there's 2 there, 2 there, lots there, and 3 there. So we don't actually have any lone warriors to remove. Then we're going to move on and score each group. So in this case here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. Let's start up the top here. Each individual warrior is worth a number of victory points equal to the number of players in that group. So there's purple and green here, so each figure's worth 2 points. So green would get 2 4 points and purple would get 2. Then you're going to evaluate presence and dominance again. So I have presence here, which will give me 2 VP. However, green has dominance, so they'd gain 5 VP. Here, again, each figure would be worth 2 points, but we both have presence and neither of us have dominance. So we'd both get 2 VP for having presence there. This group here is slightly different because of the kneeling archer. Now, if you remember earlier, I said they break ties. So here, green would have dominance. We'd get 2 VP again for each figure, but then green would get 5 points and I'd get the 2. Moving on to our last group, I would get 6 points, green would get 4, then I'd get 5 for dominance and green would get 2 for presence. The last thing you're going to score on this board is your kneeling archers. So green has a kneeling archer facing them, they're going to get an extra 2 points. The last thing you're going to score is your coins and clay. This is the only time that dry clay is actually useful. You're going to count up how many you've got. 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And every 2 is worth 1 victory point. So I've got 14 total there. That would give me 7 points. And the player with the most points is the winner. That is Terracotta Army. There's a lot going on, isn't there? The one thing I'll say is the iconography is quite good. All the information you need is somewhere on the board. Once you've had a few plays, you'll get used to what everything means. You'll also kind of start remembering what the different miniatures do. And I never thought I'd be here discussing a game with this many miniatures, which is a bit weird. I think I like this. I know how to play it. I don't think I know how to play it well yet. And you can get very caught up in, oh, well, that might give me 2 points, but that will only give me 1. And I think very much part of me thinks, just do stuff and see what happens. You might have a great master plan and then other players are going to put figures on the board and mess it all up anyway. So do stuff and find out what happens. There is another version of that saying, but I don't think it's safe for YouTube, but I think you all know what I mean. I definitely need to play this more. We've had 3-4 plays of this now. There's a lot, but we like it. The theme's quite nice. I like this wet and dry clay and the fact you have to keep your clay wet because obviously that's what would happen. The miniatures are all very brown, but again, it works with the theme. If you like your Euros that little bit heavier, this is definitely one for you. Board&Dice are just knocking it out of the park at the moment. We're big fans of their games at the moment. There's some other new stuff coming up at Essen, some of which we might be talking about, but shh. So we do like their games. They're good. I like this box for your warriors. I think that's very neat. You can actually put it back into this box like that, so you haven't got to worry about taking all of these out and putting them back in like the workers in Arkwright. You haven't got any of that worry. You just whack them in and pop them in the box and you're good to go. So that is Terracotta Army. Check it out. Let's say there was a limited release at Gen Con, and then it's getting its kind of big European release in just under a month. Keep an eye out for it. We like Adam Kwawinski. We really enjoyed Origins, which he did with Board&Dice as well. And I think some of that shines through in this. Some of the tough decision making definitely translates across this. This is definitely heavier. Actually sitting and trying to work out what you're doing in the mausoleum, depending on what the scoring tiles are. But then there's a lot of variables, so you will find yourself adapting. The wheel rotates, so that changes. Say there's a big handful of scoring tiles, so what you're going to be trying to do each game is going to change depending on what comes up with them. It's good. Check it out. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Check out our 30-day countdown to Essen on Twitter, of which, you know, this might be a part of. If you're going to be at Essen, come and say hello. If not, hopefully I'll see you here again. See you next time. Bye.